Coming from the Associated Press, how the slash and burn tactics Musk brought to Washington backfired at Twitter. Yes, let us not forget history, especially such recent history. When Elon Musk bought Twitter in 2022, he laid off thousands of employees, stopped paying rent, and auctioned off coffee makers and office chairs in hopes of a big turnaround. You know, Mr. You have to work in the office was trying to eliminate that. Now the world's richest man has brought the same slash and burn strategy to the federal government, and some people who experience Musk's takeover at Twitter have a warning. Expect chaos, cuts driven by ideology as much as by cost concerns, intimidation, and plenty of lawsuits. Let's just hope that this time around he won't be sleeping on the floor in the White House like he did over on Twitter. Did you forget about that? I didn't. Tazzy Farms doesn't forget. Since assuming leadership of the Department of Government Efficiency, Musk has consolidated control over large swaths of the government with President Donald Trump's blessing. Trump don't know what the fuck is going on. Y'all can stop perpetuating that bullshit lie. Sidelined career officials gained access to sensitive databases and invited a constitutional clash over the limits of presidential authority. He's not the president. Legally. Emily Horn, who was head of Twitter's policy communications before joining the Biden administration, describes Musk's modus operandi as take it over, ruthlessly purge anyone who he sees as opposition, and crass operations to remake it in his worldview. So basically, if you work for Musk, you can't be great. He's afraid that if you have any greatness, you'll surpass him. And how's that supposed to work out for these United States? It's unclear whether his push for extremely hardcore changes at Twitter has paid off. Revenue at the company, now called X, has plunged. The number of users has dwindled, and even Musk himself has expressed frustration at how long it's taking to turn around the company's finances. It's not going to happen. But there's a subset of the United States that loves aligning themselves with losers. And then looking shocked when they lose because of their proximity and their sycophancy to losers. It isn't working, said Ross Gerber, a minority stockholder at X, who has written down his stake to zero and expects Musk to fail in Washington too. The federal government is going to eat him up and spit him out. By some measures, X is still a success. The platform continues to attract hundreds of millions of users worldwide and has cemented Musk's political influence. But exactly how is it faring financially is difficult to say because the company is private. You're getting racist users that want a free-for-all to be able to say the racist things that they have in their head, not be held accountable. Musk is gaining political ground because he says things that are unsubstantiated. He provides no proof. Like he's just out there going, this organization is criminal. This department is criminal. And they're eating it up and spreading it all around to anybody they can get in their line of vocalization. But nobody's buying ad space. Nobody's even paying to be verified over there anymore. The same week that Musk's team at Doge were threatening to lay off tens of thousands of federal workers, bankers who loaned him billions of dollars to build Twitter were bracing for losses and trying to unload the loans on others. Musk has apparently given up hope of attracting key advertisers back to the platform and has sued some of them. That's not a good businessman. That's a litigator-in-chief. But y'all keep thinking he's going to fix it. He's such a great businessman. He sues a lot. And then gets blackmailed by Johnny Depp's ex. Examples of budget-minded business leaders who brought their skills to government work abound, but Musk made clear at both Twitter and Doge that his priorities go beyond efficiency into rooting out a woke agenda. Does he and his fanboys realize that he would be the woke agenda? An immigrant who didn't get here by legal means, but did it by any means necessary to achieve the American dream. I mean, he is the complexion for protection. Long before fighting diversity, equity, and inclusion efforts became a centerpiece of Trump's third presidential campaign, Musk eliminated Twitter's DEI initiatives and the people administering them. The culture of Twitter died, said former employee Theodore Skiatis, my apologies for any mispronunciations, whose job was cut in the weeks after Musk bought Twitter for $44 billion in October 2022. For a lot of these agencies and organizations, that may be in their future. Another tactic that Musk appears to be bringing to the government, performances of loyalty. So you don't have to be good at your job. You don't have to be qualified. You just got to kiss his ass. I told y'all, the ego driven. This is how former Twitter executive Raman Chowdhury, once again, my apologies for any mispronunciations, describes Musk's drive to make workers prove the value of their work in a way, she says, demonstrated fealty. For instance, engineers were told to print out code, then line up to have an inexperienced engineer evaluated. But this is how you want your government run, because you're going to continue to pretend as if the United States is the only country on this third rock from the sun. It's a fear and intimidation tactic, Chowdhury said. I don't know if it's the best leadership style long term, as demonstrated by how abysmal Twitter/X is doing. Musk later sought to rehire some of the engineers he fired. His instinct to threaten also backfired with advertisers. Yeah, you're not going to play with my employment and think I'm going to keep coming back to keep getting fired. Absolutely not. What did they say? Measure 10 times and cut once instead of cutting 10 times and measuring. Within months of Musk's takeover, advertising revenue plunged by half as brands fled X over fears he was loosening content moderation too much. But instead of courting the companies, Musk took to X, threatening to thermonuclear name and shame them for leaving his platform. Later at a conference, he used an expletive and urged them, don't advertise. You're not on the playground anymore. Talk about shooting yourself in the foot, said ad consultant Tom Hespos of Abydos Media, who told his clients at that point to avoid even posting on X because it could damage their brand. That is probably the worst comment he could have made. In August, Musk doubled down by using Unilever, Mars, CVS Health, and several other companies that had dropped Twitter, accusing them of engaging in an illegal boycott. People don't have to spend their money with you, Musky. On Saturday, he added more companies to the lawsuit, including Lego, Shell International, Tyson Foods, Nestle, and Colgate-Palmolive. It is amazing that these far-right lunatic incels reserve the right and understand that they don't have to spend their money or engage with people that they don't want to, but they want to force everybody to spend their money with them and engage with them. No. You don't like us, and you not like us. It's okay. His drawn-out legal battles with more than 2,000 former Twitter workers are also a sign of the kind of court fights that could await the government. A federal judge on Thursday put on hold a midnight deadline the same day for government workers to accept Musk's deferred resignation offer, promising pay through September without having to work and without having congressional approval or a budget to do this. The Peter Pan syndrome is immeasurable in this. The email announcing the offer was titled Fork in the Road, echoing a similar email Musk sent to the Twitter workforce in 2022. So he just doesn't learn from his mistakes. More than 2 years later, Musk's X is still spending an insane amount of money defending against allegations by former Twitter employees that they are owed money, said lawyer Shannon Liss Riordan, who represents hundreds of the workers. She said it would have been cheaper just to pay them what they were owed. But this is your efficiency God. They're supposed to fix everything. They're supposed to uncover fraud. He's the fraud. If that is the way decision making is being made for the federal government, I'm very concerned about the finances of the federal government, she said. Neither X nor Doge responded to requests for comment from the Associated Press. Along with gutting the company's workforce and auctioning off memorabilia and office furniture, Musk's extreme cost-cutting strategy at Twitter included simply not paying its bills. Landlords of the social media company's headquarters in San Francisco, as well as its British offices, took the company to court for millions of dollars in unpaid rent. Childish as hell. And what you going to auction off of the federal government? Because if you keep putting people out of work, who needs office equipment?